desiring the sense of it.
Anu,
Anu,
following.
following.
Yaha,
Yaha,
the person who.
the person who.
Prapatan,
Prapatan,
falling down
falling down
in this condition.
in this condition.
Prasanga,
Prasanga,
because of bad association
because of bad association
or increased association
or increased association
with material
with
desires.
material desires.
Kritva atmasat,
Kritva atmasat,
to causing me
causing me
to acquire spiritual qualities like himself.
to acquire spiritual qualities like himself.
Sri Narada,
Srinara,
Sura Rishina,
Sura Rishina,
by the great saintly person,
by the great saintly person.
Narada.
Narada,
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan,
O my Lord,
O my Lord,
Grihitaha,
Grihitaha,
accepted,
accepted,
Saha,
Saha,
that person,
that person,
Aham,
Aham,
I,
I,
Katam,
Gatam,
how,
how,
Nu,
no,
indeed,
indeed,
Mr. J
Mr. J
can give up,
can give up,
Tava,
Tava,
your,
your,
Pritya Sevam,
Pritya Seva,
the service of your pure devotees.
service of your pure devotee.
Is there water? Okay. Nice cool water. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant, Nard Muni, kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? Purport. As will be seen in later verses, even though Prahlad Maharaj was directly offered all the benedictions he might have desired, he refused to accept such offerings from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the contrary, he asked the Lord to engage him in the service of his servant, Nard Muni. This is the symptom of a pure devotee. One should serve the spiritual master first. It is not that one should bypass the spiritual master and desire to serve the Supreme Lord. This is not the principle for a Vaishnava. Narottama Das Thakur says, Bandira Chodana Sevi Bhakta Shane Bash, Joname Hoy, E Abhilash. One should not be anxious to offer direct service to the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised that one become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Gopi Bharatu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanar Das. This is the process for approaching the Supreme Lord. The first service should be rendered to the spiritual master, so that by his mercy one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to render service. Would you like to read the rest of the proof?
I'll take a mic.
Take the whole thing.
On it.
This is the process for approaching the Supreme Lord. The first service should be rendered to the spiritual master so that by his mercy one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to render service. While teaching Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti Lata. One can achieve the seat of devotional service by the mercy of the Guru, the spiritual master, and then by the mercy of Krishna. This is the secret of success. One should try to please the spiritual master, and then one should attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasada. One should not attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by concoction. One must first be prepared to serve the spiritual master, and when one is qualified, he is automatically offered the platform of direct service to Allah. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj proposed that he engage in the service of Narad Muni. He never proposed that he engage directly in the service of the Lord. This is the right conclusion. Therefore, he said, Soham katham nu vrisaje tava bhritya seva. How can I give up the service of my spiritual master, who has favored me in such a way that I am now able to see you face to face? Prahlad Maharaj prayed to the Lord that he might continue to engage in the service of the spiritual master.
Om Jnana Timidandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmiditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Ayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Jaganathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Rijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lodita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vancha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Vivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama vikama manuya prapatan prasangat kritvatmasat surashina bhagavan grihita soham katam nuvisraje tavabritya seva. So this verse was chosen for me, and it's an important verse. I suppose the thought was that we should not give up the service of our spiritual master. That's rather a modest suggestion. we of course, it's a modest suggestion. We should do more. Just not leaving, that's all right. At least let us stick around and continue to serve. But we should do more than just not leave. We should do more than just not leave. We should do something. Coming from a line of pure devotees who've done great service for spreading Krishna consciousness, we should try to contribute something, not just be able to say at the end, well, I didn't leave at least. At least that much we should be able to say. And not leave also means not leave the instructions of the spiritual master. Not just that I stayed physically present, I kept with the devotees, maybe I kept some signs of a Vaishnava, but then I didn't follow that also, and that's brought out by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary. And we should continue to follow the principles of sadhana given by the spiritual master. We should continue to strictly follow 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds a day, and follow the other principles of devotional service prescribed by the spiritual master on the basis of Shastra. That's also part of not leaving. Not leaving doesn't just mean that you see me every day, but it means that I have to follow the regulative principles. I have to follow the principles for advancement and purification. It's also significant here that this is all personal. Tavabritya Seva Surarshina Kritatmasat Surarshina Bhagavan Grihit. I was fallen in the ocean of material existence. I was following the fools who are pursuing illusory sense gratification. And how was I uplifted? By the mercy of your servant who kindly accepted me. It wasn't just an institutional affair. I signed an oath of loyalty to an organizational entity, and so that saved me from material existence. And I'm sure that the organizational entity will be there for me life after life. That's not what we find here. I'm sorry. And that's not what we find here. It's personal. The Nard Muni personally saw to it that I was engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of God. And so I have a debt, an eternal connection with him. Everything, Prabhupada said, everything in Krishna consciousness is personal. So, and that's our good fortune also. Organizations may be required, organizations may be very good, but finally everything is personal also. The spiritual master is there as the personal representative of Krishna for freeing us from material existence. And in return, we not just in return, but in that relationship, we serve the spiritual master. And within the institution, there may be so many people serving so many spiritual masters. So and the institution is meant to provide a framework in which that devotional service, as prescribed in the Shastras, takes place. The institution is not a substitute for the Shastras or a substitute for the spiritual master or a substitute for the sadhus, but it provides an opportunity multiple opportunities to serve the spiritual master, to follow the Shastra, to associate with saint persons, and to execute devotional service. So in that sense, the institution plays an important role. And so many times, Srila Bhakti Maharaj said, don't leave the institution, stay in the institution. So we should do that, stay in the institution. But in the institution, that's also, all right, I stayed in the institution. Very good. But do something for the institution. Do something and for the institution doesn't mean just institutional welfare, but do something to spread Krishna consciousness movement. Help the institution. Keep the institution strong, keep the institution pure, and keep the institution vigorous in spreading the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, if it just becomes an impersonal, administrative entity, it will not be so effective. Institutions, in fact, are, energized by the person behind the institution. There's so many Gaudiya Vaishnava institutions. So why should we say anything particular about the one that we're in, except that we're in it? But this particular institution is energized remarkably or extraordinarily by the transcendental energy of Srila Prabhupada. That's a fact. Otherwise, this institution, that institution, Hare Krishna. But what makes the institution alive is the energy imparted to it by Srila Prabhupada. And what continues the life of the institution are the devotees dedicated to serving Srila Prabhupada and dedicated to serving the servants of Srila Prabhupada. Gopi Bharta Padakamalaya, Das Das. Prabhupada said that the more time you add Das, the higher your position. So servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. The more times we can add servant, the more fortunate we are. Serving the spiritual master means with affection and love also. That's stated in various places in Srimad Bhagavatam. And we saw that in the life of Srila Bhakti Maharaj, that he was always serving Srila Prabhupada with so much love and affection. That outstandingly, we saw that. It wasn't just practical activity, and that also is very important, to be engaged in practical activity, translating books or doing other service. But that practical activity to be done with bhaktya, with love and affection for the spiritual master. And we saw that in Bhakti Charamahansa's life. He had many opportunities to go somewhere else after Prabhupada's physical departure. All the Gaudiya Vaishnavas loved Bhakti Charamahansa so much. And he was more than welcome to take part in any of the other Gaudiya institutions in Mayapur or elsewhere. And he would have been a great leader, perhaps head of one of the institutions at some point. So if we're looking for opportunities and what's the word, calculating, then we could say, well, this institution offers this, and the institution I'm in now offers that. And if I join this institution, then within a short time, I could be this. This is how one might calculate. I could have take it further, but one calculates materially in terms of profit, fame, influence and power, honor, and so on. So Maharaj had so many opportunities that he could have joined anywhere. And had nice Vaishnava association also. There's so many nice Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And perhaps one might say more refined than most of the members of ISKCON. People who've been Gaudiya Vaishnavas from practically from birth, who know the culture, who are well behaved and refined and cultured people, not Americans or Europeans. So all of that was available, but how can I leave Srila Prabhupada's service? How can I leave the society he established? My duty is to serve Srila Prabhupada. So that sense was so strong, and he taught that same sense to the disciples, promise that you'll never leave ISKCON. With all its faults. Prabhupada quoted, England, with all thy faults, I love thee. So any society, our society included, may have so many faults, but still, considering the dedication of our own spiritual master, the dedication of Srila Prabhupada, we have some feeling for the society. Yes, I should serve here. But again, it's not just institutional service, but that strong personal connection with the spiritual master. Even for institutional reasons, we might want to minimize the role of the spiritual master, the importance of the spiritual master, the authority of the spiritual master. But here in Srimad Bhagavatam, we find that this is the life of the disciple. This is the life of the disciple, the service of the personal spiritual master. We can't subtract that or minimize that without a huge loss to our spiritual life. And rather, This is the success of our spiritual life, that we're dedicated to the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya, Te Te Koriyaik, Arna Koriyo. Now, this is our aspiration. This is our aspiration. To serve the Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya, the words of instruction from the lotus mouth of the bona fide spiritual master. So many times we've heard, of course, it's almost, anyway, so many times we've heard that in the absence of, physical absence of the spiritual master, we have to serve the instructions of the spiritual master. And we hear it so many times because it's so important, and because the truth of that is so significant, that the presence is by sound vibration, not just physical presence. Physical presence is wonderful, but not always available. But the presence by sound vibration is eternally available. And therefore, we're always advised to serve the words of the spiritual master, the orders, instructions of the spiritual master. And we saw that that was Bhakti Charamarsh's life. Prabhupada quoted from Vijayabhushan, I think, Vishwanath Chakravarti, that one should make the words of the spiritual master one's life and soul. And Vishwanath Chakravarti, one or the other, or both. One should make the A.K. Haku, Vyavasaya Abhika Bhuti, A.K. Haku. So this we have to carry on. I think I've quoted several times one incident, maybe from 1968, thereabouts. I heard from one godbrother that one of Prabhupada's godbrothers sent Prabhupada a book that he published. And in the introduction or preface to the book, he said that when my Guru Maharaj left this world, I lost the light of my life. And so I basically went into legal practice, and I had my family and career. And now I'm writing this book, so many decades later. So we may think this is a very nice sentiment. But Srila Prabhupada didn't appreciate it very much. He said he should have served Guru Maharaj. Not that I lost the light of my life, now I go back to my family business and make that my number one priority. Anu, following the materialistic standard. The materialistic standard is not our standard. The material life means the blind are following other blind people. Our business is not to follow the blind people, even when it looks good. Sometimes the materialists have, it seems, very admirable ethical standards, or very admirable this or that. They have better ideas, this or that or the other thing. But our job, our duty is not to follow them. All right, sometimes there may be some good standards from the material world, but finally we have to judge by the instructions of the spiritual master. There was some incident, the devotees took advice from one very good expert attorney and concluded that instead of having so many ISKCON centers, we should have one umbrella corporation, and all the other ISKCON corporations should be under the umbrella corporation. And those who were consulting this attorney were quite dedicated to this proposition and how to implement it. And Prabhupada has cut it down. This becomes bureaucracy, and it creates the notion that we're all dependent on the central entity. They'll do everything. Anyway, we become dependent on this central authority for everything. And Prabhupada wanted leaders who would be independently thoughtful and independent ISKCON entities working under the GBC, but not standard bureaucratic style, like a franchise where everything is determined from the top, and they tell you how many French fries to have in a per serving, and so you measure out exactly according to the standard from headquarters, and you mix up the ketchup exactly according to the formula that they give you. All you have to do is follow, and then everything is very nice. That's not what Prabhupada wanted. Of course, there should be standards for the whole society regarding important matters, but not that everything is simply coming down from on high and everybody else just nods their head and does what comes from headquarters. Prabhupada wanted devotees to be independently thought. So he cut that down. So how did I get into that tangent? I think I had some point that I wanted to make from it, but I can't remember what it was. But the point, at least we'll take the point that, that their standards are not our standards. We had this expert lawyer, he gave his expert opinion, but it wasn't consistent with the desire of the spiritual master. Therefore, useless. It may seem like a very good idea, very much to the point, very expert, obviously right, but if it's contrary to the instructions of the spiritual master, then don't accept. Contrary to the instructions of the spiritual master, these three sources, Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. Finally, the Shastra is the standard, and the bona fide Guru carries out or teaches the instructions how to apply Shastra, how to live according to Shastra, teaches the disciples, with the support of the sadhus who are also in tune with Shastra. So there may be other standards that may seem very good, but that's not what we follow. When they support our Vaishnav conclusions and Vaishnav mode of life, then we may accept. And when it's contrary, we reject. Anukul yasya sankalpa pratikul yasya varjana. Whatever's favorable, we accept. Whatever's unfavorable, we reject. Favorable means according to Shastra. Tasmat Shastra pramanante karya vyavasthita. We know what to do and what not to do by the directions of Shastra. It may seem very, some other idea may seem quite right, but we can't ignore the Shastra. Or put it off to the side and say, yes, it's very important. The acharyas have said important things, but Anyway, let's get on with our business. We have to follow. Otherwise, we'll again fall into material contamination. So, but a Charjavan Pucho Veda, person who has a bona fide spiritual master can. So Bhakti Charamaj knew everything. He was following Srila Prabhupada with great devotion and love, and with great enthusiasm and energy, and then engaging all of you accordingly. Lord Hari. And at the same time setting the example of the perfect Vaishnava. Vaishnava is, Prabhupada one time said, Vaishnava is not an ordinary thing. Vaishnava is not an ordinary thing. Extraordinary. To find a Vaishnava. And to find an ideal Vaishnava, still more extraordinary. And then to find an ideal Gaudiya Vaishnava, that's still more extraordinary. So Srila Bhakti Charamaj was exactly that, ideal Gaudiya Vaishnava, ideal servant of Srila Prabhupada, ideal servant of the holy name, ideal teacher of Krishna consciousness. So many good qualities following in the line of Srila Narada Muni. Narada Muni Bhajayavina, Radhikara, chanting the holy name of Krishna to the Narada Muni is spreading Krishna consciousness everywhere and uplifting the fallen souls. So we're fortunate to be able to come in touch with a pure devotee, following in the line of Narada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Any questions, comments? Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. Very nice class. Thinking of the point that you mentioned that how when you're working within an institution and we can kind of like ignore that aspect of the personal connection with the group. And coming because it's going to big society, we come, we offer some seva, and I'm just thinking like how can we focus on that personal connection and not just be like becoming, doing some seva, going and just.
We have to keep it in front. We have to know, first of all, the philosophy that the mercy of Krishna comes especially through the Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij, Tandira Charan Sevi Bhakti. All these things we have to know. And therefore we have to keep it Prabhupada would say, in our front, keep it in front of us. That this is my business to serve my spiritual master. And then that I can do within the institution. He asked me to serve in the institution. So let me do that. But it's not that I'm just another institutional member, or that he was just another institutional member, that it's all about the institution. Both things are there, the institution and the spiritual master. And the spiritual master should never be minimized. That's what is it? The first offense in chanting the holy name or Bhakya, to disregard or disobey or trivialize the instructions of order of the spiritual master. We should keep that very carefully.
In line with that,
Like when we are offering when you're offering any seva, like this coming to the temple and offering seva, and that seva I simply consider that this is my seva to the Guru.
Yes, it should be like that. We come, we're doing the RT, the Murti Seva, but it's not just an institutional function unless I'm making money at it. That this is my profession. I come and wave some agarbatti or I cook some preparations, and this way I support my family, and it's very nice. That's another thing. But actually, I should think that I'm serving the deity on behalf of my spiritual master. Or, yes, that this is my service to my spiritual master. The deity means Krishna. Krishna is not just a statue who needs to be served so that I can collect my paycheck at the end of the week or the end of the month. And Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I'm the servant of Krishna. Or more to the point, I'm the servant of Krishna. My spiritual master is serving Krishna. I'm serving my spiritual master. That's what makes it go. That's what makes it devotional service rather than just a job. That I'm doing this for my spiritual master. Then Krishna becomes pleased. If it's simply for earning a livelihood, then you get the great benefit of money. But you don't get the same reciprocation from the personality of God and the same advancement in devotional service. You just get to maintain your family life. But when we think that I have to do this and Krishna is here and my spiritual master is serving Krishna, I have to assist, or I want to assist, I'm eager to assist, then we make great progress. Is that all right? Yes. Click. Hare Krishna.
Especially with this staying within a society regardless of all the flaws, that was really
A little louder, or I think you have to speak right into the microphone and then it works. That's good.
I have two questions. I'm going to try to lump into one. You mentioned that we know what to do through Shastra and through following Shastra, and we see that our Shastra are Bhagavatam, and then Bhagavatam is mostly instructions through the stories of great saints and sages like this, and devotees. But it's so vast, like there are so many different moods that these souls have. So how can we follow that properly? And then in that, because I know we have this Guru Sadhu Shastra, but we see in our society there are so many gurus, and we don't really have the same like mood where it's recommended in scriptures that the disciple stay at the guru's ashram for 1 year to kind of observe, and then the guru can really
Even without staying at the Guru's ashram, you'll see what is the Guru's mood, what is his emphasis, what is his desire. It's not a secret that those who didn't live at the ashram will never know what he wanted, will never know what his emphasis was, will never know what his example was. Everybody knows. Even those who aren't disciples, we know, at
also
least to some extent.
true. I'm thinking also from the point of the spiritual master guiding us in how to follow Shastra nicely, like according to our nature.
So you see his example, that's the first thing. You see his example, and then for individual instruction, so the representatives of the spiritual master may be there, or the leaders who may be in the context of the institution may be there. those who are seniors. That's also sadhus, the guru and the sadhu, who is sadhu, who supports the guru, who helps me follow my guru, each sadhu. So with the help, not just that, oh, I only follow my guru. Everyone else, get out. But these sadhus help me follow my guru. Yeah. The institution helps me follow my guru. They encourage me to follow my guru. They assist me in serving my guru. So then the sadhus and the organization of sadhus becomes very valuable. Is that okay? Something else?
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark, for the class and appreciate it. So I just want to put an input onto the question she asked and what you answered. So my thought and my thinking is that you do what you do because you know where you are. You're doing what you do, you understand Prabhupada, and you're doing what you do. So in the institution, if you're doing some service in the institution is there to help other souls. So that is one point on doing the service. It is not a service for yourself, but it's a service for others. The institution is there for others. And secondly,
is there echo on that microphone also? Yes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Right, and I was saying, secondly, you doing for your personal self, you're not doing for your personal self, you're doing it according to the spiritual master and the knowledge you got from the spiritual master and Prabhupada. And when you're heading from this of life. So you go to a higher realm without, in other words, you have no it's not a condition. It's not a condition. It's how do you call it? Unconditional. It's unconditional to a higher realm. So one have to see it that way. Unless one don't see that way, then it's,
Way to keep bhakti. Not with some, not matlabi bhakti. Way to keep bhakti without any motivation for personal profit or personal gain. Goal is that when my spiritual master is satisfied, then I'll automatically, my success is there. Thank you. Something else? Yes. I think your microphone's not on, or it's not close enough. It never works when you hold it that far away.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your great class. Wonderful instructions on how to be in consciousness. My question is how to have that surrender to Guru, total surrender, because surrender to Guru is.
Prabhupada spoke of a surrendering process. It's not that this weekend I'm going to surrender. And that's it. From now on, now I'm a surrendered soul. But there's a surrendering process. Every day we surrender. What is that? Anukulyasya sankalpa. What's favorable? I may like it, I may not like it, but I'll accept it. And pratikulyasya varjana. What's unfavorable, I'll reject. Even that may take me some time. Some unfavorable things still I'm holding on to. Some favorable things I don't want to accept. But progress means increasingly. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya vishvashva titi rakshasya titi vishvashva. That increasingly I develop the sense that Krishna will protect me. Bhokritve Varanam, Krishna will maintain. Not just that at some point in time I get 100% confidence and I surrender, but increasingly, step by step, making progress. Anything else? Okay. Maybe there'll be some directions, right?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for a wonderful class.